Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back. Today we're going to be covering essentially a bunch of AI assistants, okay, and bunch of AI agents and 101 ways in terms of how to use them, okay, because each AI assistant and AI agent has the best use case, guys, okay. And today I'm going to share my personal opinion on how I use these AI assistants and AI agents in my day-to-day, guys, okay. If that sounds good, let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So there's so many AI assistants and AI agents to choose from. Okay, we have Claude, we have Perplexity, we have ChatGPT, guys. Okay, if you are into automations, I will also show that in a quick summary, something like N8N, guys. Okay, and also if you are into a maybe low code or no code development, then something like Replit, I will also show you that quickly. And also I'm gonna showcase the cursor if you want to do something low code or a mid-level code, guys. Okay, I'm gonna also show you that and explain you the best use cases for each of these ones, guys. Okay, so let's start with actually one of my favorite, which is Claude. Okay, because Claude honestly is super versatile. Honestly, I use it for content. I use it for generating ideas for web apps and mobile apps. Okay, it's really cool to kind of pre-generate a UI. Okay, because if you use something like Replit, okay, it's pretty hungry on credits, and you need to pay an additional 20, I believe 25 or $20 a month for that, guys. So if you're just prototyping and just want to see sort of how the UI will look, honestly, the Claude is pretty good at that, guys. Okay, so let me just kind of show you how I would go about that. Okay. So today, essentially, I want to build something like a chatbot dashboard. Okay, I actually have one in my mind. Okay, I just forgot the name for it, guys. Okay, I believe it is called not this one. Yeah, so it was chat-based, guys. Okay, I really like chat-based because it's super flexible and you can literally modify and play with the AI agent to get exactly what you want. Really good for customer service, like B2B, B2C, DTC. Essentially, for any niche that you guys want, it's really one of the good ones, guys. Okay, so here I created my demo account. So essentially, that would be the dashboards here. Let me go right here. So I want to essentially create something like this. Okay, so I'm going to feed this to Claude and I'm going to say, hey, can you make me a UI mockup of something similar? Okay, so let's try that, guys, right away and kind of see how they stack up against each other. Okay, so here I'm going to take, for example, the screenshot right here and I'm going to bring it to Claude and I'm just going to copy paste it. I'm going to say, please, well, no, I'm going to say please. I always say please to AI agents and assistants for some reason. Create similar UI for my web app built on React. For example, I'm just giving more data React next JS. Okay, we'll offer AI chatbots. Okay, let's go ahead and plug that in. And now what's cool, it's gonna essentially think about it. Here it's gonna essentially do a architecture and analysis. Okay, here it's essentially thinking, which is really fascinating. What I like about Claude, and it says the user is showcasing me a screenshot of what appears to be a chatbot interface with a clean, modern design. Looking at the interface, I can see. So here it lists essentially the layout and sections, a nav bar, main navigation, okay, and a central chat interface and stuff like that, guys. So it's pretty awesome. So it creates sort of a plan and architecture, and then it starts writing the code, okay? And the crazy part is going to be, it's actually going to give me a preview. I will be able to actually preview. There you go, guys. I didn't even finish my sentence, and it already did that. It's crazy. Cool, so essentially it gave us a playground, which is very similar right here, guys. Okay, so it's kind of in the sense of structure. Obviously the UI is different. Okay, the UI library, it's going to be different because Claude is using different ones. So here, activity analytics, obviously they're not all selectable, but if I want to, I can go ahead and ask, hey, can you make each of the tabs interactive and dynamic and put some dummy data in there, and it's gonna do it. Obviously it's gonna take some time, and I think it's gonna break down each of these tabs as a component. Okay, and then you will need to essentially copy paste the code and bring it to something like cursor, guys. Okay, for example. So essentially that's one of the use cases. I really like using Claude to really create a mock-up, a visual idea if I have something in my mind for creating a web app or application for a client, for example, guys. Okay, and also the other reason I really like Claude for more complex situations, because when you use something like ChatGPT, it has an issue which is called hallucination, guys, okay? And when AI models hallucinate, it means that essentially they come up with data, okay? Or they just plug in the data that wasn't really there, okay? Or for example, like when you use the browsing feature with ChatGPT, very frequently it's gonna come up with facts, okay? It's gonna really come up with like data and facts that doesn't exist because it hallucinates, and essentially it doesn't have the context window too long. It doesn't take all the data, okay, and it cuts it off, and then it just like comes up with the stuff that wasn't really part of the original request, okay? So that's why like Claude has a much better contextual understanding, and it does hallucinate way less than ChatGPT, okay? So ChatGPT hallucinates quite a lot. Actually, one of the models that hallucinates almost the most out of all of them. So I do prefer Claude for more complicated or something that, you know, needs more sort of a logic or attention to details, okay? But again, ChatGPT has its own uses, and we're gonna cover that just in a sec, all right? So another really cool tool that I want to quickly cover, guys, because it wasn't really part of the plan, but it's called essentially V0 Dev, guys, okay? So it lets you create a really nice looking UI components using ShadCN, which is essentially a CSS library, mostly used for React and Next.js frameworks. So it's really good in a sense that, you know, it gives you good UIs that you can plug and play and use right away, okay? So a lot of startups are using V0. The only problem that all the startups these days are looking exactly the same when it comes to UI because they're using V0 so extensively. But it's really good, guys, as overall. Let me just show you how that works, guys, okay? So here I'm gonna go to new chat, and what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna go back to chat base, okay? And I'm gonna take the screenshot of the same dashboard right here, okay? And let me just take my snipping tool, okay? So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna bring it to V0, and I'm gonna say, create similar chatbot dashboard for me, okay? And let's send that to V0, and let's see how that stacks up to our Claude right here, guys. Let me just open up right here. So this is what we got from Claude, and let's see what we're gonna get from V0. I believe it's gonna be closer to the actual chat base because I believe chat base does use some elements from ShadCN UI library. So since this is also based on ShadCN, this might be actually much closer to what we are asking, guys. So let's give it a second, and I'll get back to you once it's done. And by default, ShadCN, well, not ShadCN, the V0 will be using Next.js structure and architecture for the folder. So here we have app page uploading, and it's using the TypeScript components. So it's a pretty standard Next.js structure, guys. And I will explain you just in a second what Next.js is, because it's really popular when you're combining that with something like Cursor, and Cursor will be essentially a AI code editor. I'm gonna show you that as well just in a second, guys. So make sure to stick around until the end of the video because we're gonna be covering a bunch of cool AI tools, guys, all right? So I think it's good to go almost. So it took slightly different approach, but if we're talking about the UI style and the feel, it's actually very similar to Chatbase, okay? So let me go back to Chatbase, guys, okay? If I go to Chatbase, so again, if we look at this, it is very similar in a sense, you know, the colors and the feel of it. Let me just bring it here, guys, so you can see even the hover effects and everything. Again, just the only difference, it created a sidebar instead of the sort of a navbar tab style. So, but very similar. We can ask it to change it to have this layout. But again, that's not the focus, guys. Just really demoing and test driving all the AI tools, guys. And here we have all the tabs. And again, it even plugged and play with dummy data for each of them. So it went extra mile comparing with Claude, which makes sense because this is really UI specific AI agent, guys, okay? So if I click analytics, we have some dummy data for analytics, we have sources. I think I need to like stretch my screen a little bit like this. Here we have add sources, pretty cool, actions, contacts, connect, and settings. So pretty awesome, guys. So if you tell me this is such a good model for MVP, guys, all you're gonna do really just plug and play your APIs, okay? You know, when we're using something like Chatbase, you know, Chatbase is not really a AI company. It's really a ChatGPT and all other AI models wrapped around the platform, okay, and they're just calling using APIs to the OpenAI or Cloud or whatever, and all of that is wrapped in something like Next.js, maybe with some database like Firebase, guys. But again, I'm not going to be getting into that. It's a bit more complex, guys. But if you're more into dev stuff or you want to learn like low code or maybe mid code, let me know down in the comments, guys, and I can drop as well some free courses and videos on that as well, all right? And guys, it's pretty smart. Just look at that. It's even saying you can add your webhook URL and your API key, guys. Like I didn't even ask for that. That's pretty cool. Nice, guys. So we covered essentially Cloud and V0 for building MVPs for the UIs, which is pretty awesome, guys. So next up, guys, we have ChatGPT, guys. Okay, so ChatGPT is really my daily sort of assistant for go-to stuff. You know, when I need to create a plan or I need to create an architecture for something, or when I have problems with my PC because I'm on Windows and I have a lot of problems with Windows. So I actually use it a lot for troubleshooting and really for day-to-day tasks, you know, something like planning, organizing, project management, okay? So that would be my go-to in terms of the AI model. I will be using, and I've always been using ChatGPT for my daily, you know, personal and some work tasks as well, okay? So for example, I'm doing a lot of content and e-commerce also, e-commerce stuff, guys. So the very frequent case for me is to create different copies and add copies, for example, for social medias, guys, okay? So what I'm gonna do usually, I'm gonna say something like this. So I'm gonna be using this pretty extensive prompt, guys, because the thing with AI models, if you give them very basic prompt, you're gonna get very basic and pretty crappy response back, okay? It's gonna be generic and it's gonna sound exactly like AI would sound, and people are gonna call it out immediately, okay? Because it is very easy to spot the content that is generated by AI with the naked eye, guys, okay? If you're in marketing or if you're doing a lot of work with AI models, you can spot that on the spot, guys, okay? To avoid that and just be more original and cool, okay, you need to use more complex prompts like this, guys, okay? So here we're saying how it should act and behave, okay? And then we are defining the task, okay? So let me just break it down. So here we're essentially defining what it is, the character, and then we are defining the task, okay? And here we are defining you know, the tools and, you know, what it should be utilizing to get to that point and get that data, okay? And then we're essentially describing the steps, okay? Essentially step 1, step 2 in a way, okay? And then we're saying what should the output or the final format look like, okay? So that's essentially the structure, guys. If you want to get that really cool content from AI, guys, you should learn something called prompt engineering, or at least the basics, guys, okay? So I believe Google has free courses on AI, which does include prompt engineering. They have like one of the courses that's like hours long. So I do highly suggest just do it on your free time, maybe on weekends, guys, or at least go on YouTube and do basics of prompt engineering and check out some videos. And also, if you want me to drop some videos on prompt engineering, let me know down in the comments and I will gladly do that for you guys as well for free, guys, okay? So let's go ahead and send this straight to ChatGPT. So what I'm doing here, I'm essentially identifying trends first, okay? Because I can't really post on LinkedIn if I'm not aware about the trends within my industry. So obviously I can't really spend hours going to the LinkedIn. Of course, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go on LinkedIn and do you know, some data analysis myself. But again, I need to organize my time correctly. So I'm going to be using AI models to do the basics of scraping of the latest trends for the topic that I want to create content on, okay? So that's the first step. I want to understand the trends and what's actually happening in my niche currently. And here it gives me a pretty extensive data, okay? So agentic and AI automations agents, guys, that is true. Okay, AI-driven recruitment and virtual hiring, guys, that is true. Okay, so it's actually highlighting pretty cool trends that are currently happening in AI and AI automation industry, guys, okay? And then it gives me a suggestion to how to capitalize on these trends, okay? So it tells me essentially produce informative posts, articles, and videos that explore these AI topics, okay? Then it gives me engagement tactics, okay, calibration, and how to monitor and adapt, okay? So essentially anything you would need to have for your social media posting strategy based on your niche, guys, okay? And that's essentially how I approach. After this, I'm gonna craft a prompt to create the actual content, okay? And then I'm gonna see if it makes sense to actually create a image asset in Canva, or I'm gonna generate it with ChatGPT, okay? So the problem with generating images with ChatGPT, they might look a little bit generic, and you need to spend a little bit more time to really create that super original image that nobody else has who can use also ChatGPT and generate images, guys, okay? So again, prompt engineering is super important if you're creating pretty much anything, not just content, guys. If you're building stuff, guys, application, web apps, guys, okay, if you give them really basic prompt, your app will look like a I don't know, it's gonna look like a web page from 2002, guys, okay? So if you don't want that to happen, make sure that you do the basics and understand how prompt engineering works and how to prompt engineer your request with the AI models, guys, okay? Cool, guys, so essentially Claude and V0 for creating mockups for your UIs and doing some, really this discovery, doing a bit of discovery for what kind of UIs and designs you want for your web app or application, for example. Okay, and then we can use ChatGPT to create content and maybe to promote your product or the web application building by using proper prompts using ChatGPT. Okay. Cool. So now to create the content, I'm gonna do something like I would like you to create a content for my LinkedIn profile, craft me an interesting, informative, whatever that are related to AI or automation. So now it already has the context of the research it did. So now I'm gonna send this to ChatGPT. Okay, and now we're gonna get the content back from ChatGPT. And here are some cool ideas for content. Okay, so the only thing I can spot immediately this was done by ChatGPT, even if I wouldn't know that it's coming from ChatGPT. Okay. Because all these long dashes and just the language is a little bit cheesy, okay? So what I like to do, I'm gonna take all of these ideas here, okay, and I'm gonna bring it to Claude because Claude is better when it comes to crafting a ad copy and using the right language, okay? So I'm gonna say something like this. So this one is actually pretty simple. I'm just saying rewrite these to be less cheesy and improve tone and language as a seasoned LinkedIn content creator in AI niche, okay? I'm just gonna paste these ones in, and now let's adjust that, okay? Cool, so now we're getting a bit more better results, okay? Automation is about amplification, not replacement. Okay, the AI will steal our jobs. Narrative misses the point entirely after implementing automation across 50 plus client workflows. I've seen the same pattern. AI doesn't replace human judgment. It removes the friction around it, guys. So as you can see, guys, the quality of the content becomes much better, okay? Because ChatGPT can create generic content and the tone is just a little bit it's tone deaf, okay, and it's flat. So I like to bring it to Claude to really improve the content from ChatGPT, okay? And then we get much better results. So again, if you want to have more high quality output content, then definitely go ahead and use Claude. But again, you can brainstorm ideas and create the initial versions and drafts with ChatGPT, and then just bring them to Claude, for example. Awesome, guys. And then the third one that I'm really using extensively is called Perplexity Pro, okay? So I really like using it for research, okay? Because it has much better capabilities for web scraping, okay? Where ChatGPT doesn't really shine when it comes to web scraping. It does pretty basic job when it comes to scraping and pulling data from Google search, guys. So with Perplexity, that is different because it's actually pulling pretty fresh data and it's scraping the data and whatever the website content much better than ChatGPT. So I'm gonna take exactly the same prompt we have here, okay, and I'm gonna bring to Perplexity and I'll just copy paste that in here and let's just send that, and then we're gonna kind of compare side by side and see what kind of results we're gonna get from Perplexity compared with ChatGPT for the same prompt, okay. And Perplexity is not just AI assistant, it's also a AI agent in a sense that it can build stuff, okay. So recently they introduced an update which is called Labs, okay, and what it does, it lets you create projects from A to Z, okay. You can literally clone a Twitter or Instagram, I'll show you that in a sec, okay, or create any game or essentially anything, and you're gonna get a live preview and the source code and everything within the Perplexity, which is pretty crazy. So here we're getting essentially some results, executive summary, okay, key trending topics. So it's even from on the spot, it's organizing much better. Okay, it's giving all the links, okay, and it even gives a scroll to the section. Okay, it gives me all the references, what's trending. Okay, it even is using a steps. Okay, it's actually using steps logic to understand what I'm asking and process the prompt correctly. Okay, so again, as you guys can see, it definitely does, even at analyzing the data and the latest data, much better than ChatGPT. And you can as well choose the models that you want to use directly from Perplexity. Okay, so if you want to have a better content or whatever better text output, you can off the bat switch to Claude for Sonnet, which essentially is Claude. Okay, and you can use Claude within Perplexity, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so this way, for example, you don't need to have two subscriptions if you don't want to spend extra money. So you can have Perplexity, and you essentially have all the cool AI models, including ChatGPT and Claude, directly in Perplexity. Okay, so now let me show you the other really cool feature of the Perplexity, which is essentially called Labs. And guys, you need to be a pro subscriber to use this. And essentially what it does, let me just open new chat so we don't pollute the context window. I'm gonna do something like clone Instagram mobile app for me, okay? With some dummy data, okay? So I'm gonna do that. Essentially we're asking, oops, I think I closed the backend, guys. Let me go back. So I'm just gonna say clone Instagram for me with similar URL. Okay, that's all I'm asking, guys. Literally, that's single sentence, and I'm gonna just send that to Perplexity, guys. And now let's wait for the results. Super actually excited to see this one. Okay, so here it says to clone Instagram with a similar UI. I will analyze Instagram's core features, user interface elements, and user experience to design experience designed by researching current design trends and existing clone projects, guys. So it's gonna go into GitHubs and search for public repos and pull the data from there, guys. It's pretty awesome stuff. And guys, while it's generating, because it's gonna take maybe 5 minutes, which is crazy. That's to have an Instagram clone 5 minutes. That's insane. But while it's doing that, what's cool about also the Claude and ChatGPT, you guys can connect them to external tools. For example, guys, here you can go to Claude and then you're gonna click on Connect Apps. And you can essentially connect it to your Google Drive and Gmail and Google Calendar. Okay, so this way, Claude essentially has access to your Google Calendar and can be sort of your personal assistant or for your Gmail or for your Google Calendar. Or if you're a developer, you can plug and play directly into your GitHub. And what you can do also, if you are working in a specific industry, you can create a new project. Okay, so you're gonna go here, you're gonna click a project, and then you're gonna click a new project, name the project, okay, and all that stuff. So here I'm gonna say something like test, create project, and here you can add something called project knowledge, which essentially is a context for the Claude AI model. So you can drop like PDFs, text documents or code snippets. So every time you work with this project, it already has an idea about what to look for, okay? And for example, the best practices, okay, you can define here, for example, you can click on set instructions. And here you can say something like act like a senior ex Google, whatever meta software engineer and apply this and this best practice. Every time you write a piece of code, make sure you do this, do that. Double check the latest NPM versions on the web, okay? And or if you're in marketing, you can define the structure and the behavior, okay, and what kind of a style or brand voice it should be using when it's working within this project, guys, okay? So that's also a pretty awesome feature. Awesome, guys. So here we have it, and it took roughly 10 minutes to do that. Okay, obviously it's not exactly a perfect clone, guys, but again, the idea that it took 10 minutes to do all of this, it's super crazy, guys, okay? And obviously we used very basic prompt, okay? Here, I can even drop image, that's pretty awesome. I have profile and everything. So again, it's fairly close, guys. Again, we can play around, actually find proper clones and feed it the right data from maybe some GitHub repos that done, Instagram clones, and we can get much closer clone to what we have here. But again, it's a really cool version 1 draft for Instagram clone, considering it was all done by AI in 10 minutes, guys. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. Again, guys, AI is not meant to replace any developers or anything like that. It's just really meant to make your work easier. And also, if you are somebody who always wanted to build something but you were scared of the code, so these tools are really good for you, because you can actually realize your ideas out of your head and actually make them visual and make them happen, guys. So which is actually a pretty cool tool about all of these AI agents and tools we have these days available. Awesome, guys. And the last one I'm going to show you is something called Cursor. Okay, guys. So the Cursor essentially it's a AI-based code editor. Okay, it's built it's built upon on Visual Studio Code, guys. If you're coming from development or software engineering background, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially, Visual Studio Code was the OG or the original code editor everybody was using. We also have JetBrains. Okay, I think JetBrains was also one of the first ones that was infusing AI into their IDEs. But now we have Cursor, and the Cursor created the term vibe coding, and now you can vibe code essentially any app that you want. And let me show you how that exactly works. Okay, so the first of all, I need to create a new project. Okay, so to do that, I first need to go back to my desktop because I'm in the wrong directory. I'm going to go 2 steps back. So I'm going to go to desktop. Okay. And now I'm going to ask AI to create a essentially Next.js application or just a boilerplate. Okay. And Next.js, it's a framework for essentially JavaScript to build cool web applications. Okay. We don't have usually any servers. Okay. It's sort of a serverless. We work with APIs. Okay. So you can essentially have a whole web application without having a backend like Express.js or stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask create a latest Next.js project, just like that. Okay, now it's gonna do its thing. And here, yeah, that's the one npx create Next.js app latest. And now it's gonna ask me if I want to do JavaScript or TypeScript. I think I made a typo. Okay, guys, I think we just are in the wrong, not the wrong directory, but sometimes Cursor has these bugs. Let me do it the old school way, and I'm just gonna go from my command prompt. I'm just gonna use this one right here. Okay, and we have the same error. Okay, so the issue is essentially is because I've installed also a VSL or WSL, so I can have something called Cloud Code, okay, which requires a sort of a virtual Linux or whatever Ubuntu, okay, and looks like it's trying to push the npm into the VSL and instead of the npm on the Windows. So essentially, I need to first clear this one here. Okay, so we need to do this, and we need to essentially delete this one right here, prefix like this. Okay, and now we're gonna save that. Now we should be good to go, guys. And now we're just gonna make sure we preset the right npm prefix. Okay, and now we should be able to create the project. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna copy paste this one. I'll bring it back here. And now let's do it. Now it should work. There you go, guys. Now it's working. Cool. So also you learn how to troubleshoot some common scenarios. Okay, so I'm gonna click on yes. I'm just gonna call like I don't know, Next.js demo. Okay, we're gonna use TypeScript. Yes. ESLint. No, not really. It's too annoying. Tailwind. Yes. I don't want SRC. Prouder. Yes. Sure. Why not? Turbo pack. Sure. No, I don't need that. And now let's install the whole thing, guys. Okay, awesome. So we're done. Now let's go to our project. So we can go to cd next.js, and that's in demo folder. And I believe I forgot the command. Was it npm run, or I forgot, guys? It's been a while. I forgot the command, guys. So I'm just gonna use ChatGPT to tell me what's the. Okay, it was run npm run dev. Okay, that was the one, correct. I forgot about it because I'm working between the Vite and Next.js and React. They have slightly different run commands. It's cool. So it's gonna start it on 3000. Okay, cool, guys. So here it is. It's open. This is essentially a default boilerplate. Okay, so let me just bring these side by side. Cool, so we have these side by side here, we have the preview and everything. So now what I want to do, I'm gonna show you how you can essentially build stuff with Cursor by just asking questions to AI. So here we're gonna be using this one here. I'm not using the agent option, okay? The reason is because I have my own API keys for OpenAI and Claude, and it's slightly cheaper than using their 20-a-month subscription because they changed the subscription model, and now they're charging for this and that, and they're setting limits. I'm not really happy with it. I like Cursor, but the pricing plan doesn't really make to me, okay? So instead of agent, I'm gonna use ask. Again, guys, there's benefits to using AI agent in Cursor because you can literally kind of add the code, replace the code, and create new pages. So basically, I just prefer to use my own API keys, okay? So I feel like it's slightly cheaper than using the subscription from Cursor. Cool guys, so let's go ahead and start doing this quickly. Okay, we'll do something very fast. And I'm not gonna spend too much time. Let's just so you guys kind of see the demo how it works, and if you would like to give it a try, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna be using the 3.7 standard. That's perfect. That's the cloud. So I'm gonna say something. Help me build basic AI chatbot dashboard and provide me with full snippets and code. Okay, because we don't want to write any code. We're doing low code or no code, okay? For beginners out there, guys, so we just want to essentially copy paste and make things happen, all right? So let's do that. Okay, so it's telling me to first to create a page for the chatbot dashboard. Okay, so the pages are essentially under the client and the source, and under the pages, I just saw it here. I just literally saw it a second ago, guys. Okay, here it is, pages. Okay, so in here, it wants me to create a page called chatbot. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a chatbot, and we are in TypeScript, so we're gonna do TSX. Okay, so that's gonna be our chatbot page, and I'm gonna essentially take this and bring it in here and copy paste. Let's see if we have any errors. We don't have any errors. That's perfect. So next up, let's see what else we have here. Okay. Next up, it's saying we need to create a dashboard layout component. So the components are in here. So we're going to go to components, and inside the component, we're going to create a new file, and we're going to call it dashboard layout. So that's going to be our dashboard layout, for example. Also TypeScript. So we're going to copy this, bring it in here. We'll save that. We are getting some errors here. So here it's saying we don't have any. Makes sense because we haven't created that yet. So first, let me make sure I didn't make any typos with the name. Okay, so here I'm gonna copy paste to make sure I did it correctly. Okay, and let's re-import that. There you go. And now we need to create a chat message item, which is also in components. So we'll do the same thing. We'll bring in the name .txx. And now I think it's somewhere here, chat message. That's the one we created, did we? Yes, and now we're gonna copy paste this in here. Do we have any errors? We don't. And now we need to simply re-import it here to get rid of the error. So we'll do that, chat message, and like this. Cool, so we don't have any errors in the newly created components. So we're good to that. And let's see, okay, my contacts window finished, continue. Okay, so now it's telling me to create utils, but I'm not gonna really create utils really. We already have it here, so I'm not really sure why it's telling me to do the same thing. Okay, we already have the utils. So now we need to essentially add everything to the component. Okay, so I'm not gonna bother doing it manual. I'm just gonna delete and add the new one. And now we should have it somewhere here. Let's check it out. Cool, so now we need to update the hero section and also the home section. So we'll just do that. We'll bring all the code out of here and just copy paste with a new one. That's good. And then we have also the header. Okay, we'll bring all of this right here. Okay, like this. My bad, guys. I actually was working in a different directory. That's why I wasn't seeing any changes. I was in the wrong folder. My bad, guys. Okay, let me fix that. I opened the correct folder. Happens, guys. Sometimes we make stupid mistakes. Pretty common. Nothing crazy here. So I'm gonna create a new components folder here. Okay, because we are working off a fresh project. So components. Now I'm gonna create a new file, and that's gonna be called chat message.tsx. Okay, and we're gonna bring all this in here like this. Cool. And then we're gonna go to chat input. It's also it's a component. Okay, it's using a use client. Okay, so these are client based. So usually I would need to split those. Let me see if it catches that. Let's create the components directory in our chat components. Okay, so cool. Let's give it a try. The next thing, we have a chat inputs. Okay, chat inputs or input. Okay, I'll do this one. I'll bring this here. Okay, next up we have a chat interface. We'll do the same thing. Chat interface, and that's also going to be TSX because we're working with TypeScript. And we'll bring this in here. Let's double check for errors. We don't have any errors. Perfect. And now we need to essentially create a page for all these ones to render them out. Okay, cool. And now I'm going to create a page.tsx. Okay, and we'll bring all these in here. Okay, and now we need to render the entire thing in the layout. Okay, so we can replace this template from Next.js. We'll just remove this, and now we should be able to. Okay, something crashed, guys. Let's see what happened here. Well, it's actually not running, that's why. So we need to actually run the server before anything. Cool, so it's running. Now we can refresh. Okay, so missing HTML body tag in the root layout. Okay, so it's good to go. So a bit of troubleshooting. Essentially, I just forgot to create an actual dashboard folder, because again, it's all based on the routes. Okay, I was essentially trying to put everything on the main dashboard or the homepage where we have Next.js, but Next.js is working with the folder routes. So here I just had to put the route, which is a folder, and put our layout and the page for it. Okay, and then we have the components rendering within the within that route and the folder. Okay, guys. So essentially, here it is. It's pretty simple, straightforward chat UI, guys. Nothing crazy, but again, we did it like within the last 10 minutes, guys. It's also pretty cool without really touching too much code. Just a bit of troubleshooting. And again, when you troubleshoot, Next.js will tell you what errors you're facing. You can feed that to the AI, and it's going to tell you how to fix it as well. And it's also a good learning curve if you guys want to learn cursor and low-code AI coding tools like this as well. And the last one, but not least, guys, let me show you how you can actually do automations with low-code AI tools, like for example N8N. N8N is a platform that lets you automate tasks and essentially connect a bunch of different softwares, AI agents together. So let me give you a quick demo here, guys. For example, where is it? So I'll show you something like this, guys. Okay, so I have this essentially calendar agent in N8N. Okay, and it has access to my Google Calendar and to my Gmail. So if I go here and I say like what emails I have received today, okay, and we'll send that to the agent. It's going to check my Gmail right now. Okay, here's checking the Gmail server, the MCP server, guys. If you want to learn about MCP servers, let me know down in the comments. I'll create a course for beginners, but I believe I also should have a MCP course or a video on MCP servers in N8N on my channel as well, guys. So definitely go ahead and check it out. Cool. So here we have a subject with the notification with Ricky, which is coming from the ClickUp. Okay. So let's see if that is actually the case, guys. I'm gonna go to my Gmail. Let's check it out, and it is true. I have a ClickUp comment from Ricky. Okay, so essentially it can pull the data from my Gmail, reply to it, okay, categorize it, and same thing for a calendar. You can essentially access my calendar, create bookings, and send me emails once everything is done. And essentially, in a very short way, that's how you create automations using AI agents, AI assistants, and a bunch of tools combined together. You can create pretty powerful tools. You can automate videos, on the go. You can have something that generates AI videos for your YouTube channel, for your YouTube Shorts, guys. You can create your own AI assistant and just really make your own life easier and build stuff for clients and sell these as a business model as well if you want to, guys. Okay. So essentially that summarizes my favorite AI tools and how to use them. And also, as a beginner, it's a really good sort of a foundation and layout for all the tools that are available, what they do, and what's the best use case for all of them. Okay, again, I didn't cover everything in depth, guys. If you have any specific questions about specific AI models or apps or software or anything else AI related, guys, let me know down in the comments, and I'll gladly make another video tutorial on that as well. And if you do enjoy the videos like this, always make sure to like and subscribe. Enable your notifications to be notified when I drop another video like this. Okay, and as always, I will see you next time, guys. Have a good one.